Hello and hello. Welcome, welcome. This is In the Cards with the Viberarian, and I am Joelle. I'm very excited to be here as I am every Wednesday. I'm just going to give it a moment here too for the stream to go out. I think we are good to go. So let's see here. I think we are all set. All right. So this is Wednesday, and there is a lot going on. Now, for those of you who were here last week, thank you for tuning in. Those messages were great. However, I started out with a deck that I didn't even get to by the time that we got done with the reading. So this evening, I'm definitely going to loop back around. We're going to get in the Ashati Oracle cards, which I received from my card buyer, Dawn. So we're going to start with that. And I have got a lot of card decks that I was guided to pull out to use this evening. So we're just going to give it one more moment here. I think my moderators are hopping in. All right, for the Good Vibe Tribe. Awesome. So now, today, last night, or the night before, was the catastrophic collapse of a bridge in Baltimore, Maryland. And it is the Francis Scott Key Bridge. Now, there's a lot of information that I can associate with this. I don't want to get into deep into conspiracy, but I have to talk about the symbolism that I was receiving. And then also we're going to get guidance to see what messages want to come out. So in this particular incident, you can take a lot. Let's just talk about the symbolism. This is a major bridge that is connecting two things together, two land masses together. And of course, unfortunately, there were people on the bridge then when this boat a huge shipping container, a cargo deck, hit it on just a particular strut, and it collapsed the whole bridge. So, okay, the bridge is fine. There's a catastrophic failure of something, the bridge between two objects. This is going to have major impact because it is going to block trade and delivery as well as transportation and travel for the foreseeable future. Like there's major events happening now to work out a new way of moving things around that now unavailable support. Okay, so when we're talking about eclipses are when things literally are eclipsed out of our lives. So we're talking about this bridge has now been eclipsed. It is no longer a factor. So anybody who woke up and now has to figure out how to get to work, has to figure out how to do what they're doing and what they're used to doing, their reality has now shockingly and suddenly shifted. Now, if this is not the definition of an eclipse surprise, then I don't know what else would necessarily qualify, although I think we're going to have an opportunity to see. Now, it's interesting because Francis Scott Key is the composer of the words, I believe, of the Star Spangled Banner. So, that is interesting because that is like a very American symbol that has been taught in school, and it's a beloved thing to hear your national anthem, right? For everyone, we have fostered a sense of love of our home and our community, and that has turned into nationalism on the larger scale. And so that, as we know, can be a good and a bad thing because we're truly without borders when it comes to being human beings, right? But of course, there's also the converse of being lovingly embedded and invested in the place that nurtured you. So it's quite a juxtaposition, if you will, of these two bridges, two positions to have a bridge. And if we're talking about the fact that we are literally going through the change of energy from the old 3D density to the 5D density, structures that have been entrenched in us, in our society, have to come down in order for new ways to emerge. So we're having this example in a very real setting on our community stage here in the United States, because now something new will emerge, and it will take quite some time, if ever, things will go back to how they were. Once things shift, the idea that anything stays the same is an illusion anyway, but certainly this is going to be like a long-term thing. In Atlanta, we had a fire underneath a bridge in a major thoroughfare in downtown. And that disrupted things, but they worked fast and paid lots of money and had that thing done by like 8 months or something, because of course, money is time is time. They had wanted it to get back to the old way so that the commerce that was expected could go through downtown Atlanta. So there's an expectation now that the old way will be restored, like get these shipping lines open, get it how it used to be. But on a level, there is going to be a morphing into something new, because some things people will have to have permanent pattern changes because their lives cannot hold long enough to respond to the external timeline that's presented. Okay, so there's so much message, because we're also just having passed the lunar eclipse on Monday. This is internal and deeply feeling and hidden. And we've got the solar, which is our external reality, changing. Everything is going to be still in the pathway of the totality. And it is a BFD, as they say, a big deal. So I want to see, first of all, let's see what these Ashati Oracle cards say. This deck is from Dawn, and she's the owner of Holistic Health and Wellness. and she procured this deck for me in Sedona, Arizona. The artist is Francine Comenez, and I messed it up last week too. And the card deck creator is Jerome Baudel. So let's first see here what the messages are. Hello, if you're in the chat. Thank you for tuning in. All right, we're going to pull a card for the lunar and a card for the solar. See what energies are afoot that are related to present timeline and potentials. All right, here we go. Wow, find your freedom. This is the second time that, or third time I've got this card, and I've only had the deck like 2 weeks. So, and on the bottom of the deck, we have, wow, oh my goodness, explore your shadow. So through the lunar eclipse was the find your freedom, because that's the order I pulled it. And then the solar eclipse is explore your shadow. So that is, look at that imagery. Now, for me, sunflowers are always an indicator that my ancestors, my maternal ancestors, are surrounding me, and there's such beautiful love and joy. And also, like the eagle is also paternal ancestor energy. So it's like finding our freedom in this pathway as our ancestors are literally, watching us move through as we find our freedom. That is just beautiful. I love that. Now, I can tell you, as a person who has actually walked between sunflowers, I wouldn't be doing it barefoot probably. I can tell you that. Okay, my family homestead is in Kansas, so if you want to talk about sunflowers, in a few months there'll be some behind my mother's back porch, and they're all over her house. So again, my maternal, as the paternal is watching over, and the maternal is gathered around in beauty. Okay, wonderful. All right, so let's see here in this explore your shadow. Okay, so we also have here that rose over the heart area. And so we're talking about the order of the rose, the Magdalene rose, the blossoming of the unconditional love frequency that is awakening to itself here on the planet. We have to look at our shadow side in order to really understand and be able to extend unconditionality. Because if you don't find someone's shadow state or experience relatable, then you will probably likely have an opportunity then to walk a mile in those shoes as part of your soul's choice in evolution. All right, so this is interesting because this says to me there's some kind of, and it's 16 is 7, so it's also my divine feminine calling card, but it's like, okay, there's almost like this painful kind of expression. All right, so let's see what it says here. The freedom we seek is often something to allow into our inner world rather than something to create within our physical reality. Choosing to be free, therefore, is not always about choosing to live without attachments or responsibilities. Living free may be more about deciding to live your life your way, following your unique path, even if other people will not always understand your choices. Freedom can be about allowing yourself to shine your own light brighter, to create your own unique future, and at times to make and learn from your own mistakes. You are being asked to tune into your heart and free yourself from the thoughts, expectations, and beliefs that are not truly yours and that are preventing you from being you. You may then find your true freedom. Okay. So this is beautiful because we're in that inner realm in this card, the lunar eclipse, and exploring. And the feeling that arises from it is going to be the vibration that brings forward our external magnetized reality. All right. So this is beautiful. All right. Now explore your shadow. I'm giggling because I had made a note to myself to not say all right so much. And here I am doing it. Okay, the Explore Your Shadow. This is the solar eclipse card. All right. The shadow represents a part of our subconscious mind where we tend to store unpleasant thoughts and emotions, keeping them away from the light of our consciousness. By doing so, we unwillingly give these repressed energies more power over ourselves, our health, our relationships, and even what we attract and manifest. Exploring your shadow is therefore as empowering and liberating journey of growth, healing, and deep transformation. You are now ready to free yourself from some of your repressed energies so that you can find more clarity and move forward. Simply intend to open to this deeper part of yourself and let what is ready to be dealt with naturally come to the surface, to be felt, expressed, and released. Know that you will be guided along the way and that the right situations, assistance, and opportunities will present themselves at the right time. Okay, so whatever happens with this solar eclipse that is a shock to our reality that we need to see that because it has been repressed, and this eclipse is going to give it an opportunity to be visible, like the comet that is going to be visible. All right. Trust that you are going to know what to do and that you are going to be guided along your highest experience. So just know that in the heart of hearts, when the shocks come or the shadow rises. All right. Now, the Oracle of the Universe. I used this deck a couple weeks ago. I want to see what the actual eclipse, since it's a universal kind of alignment, let's see what the lunar and solar eclipse guidance is. This is the Oracle of the Universe by Stacy DeMarco. Divine guidance from the cosmos. All right, so we're going to see what the moon and the lunar eclipse and the solar eclipse say. All right, lunar. Ooh, Howl at the Moon, Canis Major, Acceleration. It's a constellation and it's number 25, which again is a 7, which is my divine feminine calling card. Oh, Howl at the Moon. Such a beautiful card. Okay, we're going to pull the one off the bottom, but I'm not going to flip it over yet. Put these back. Canis Major, the dog constellation, I believe. Now, let me tell you, if you want to get astrological guidance about what these eclipses are, please look on YouTube. I am not an astrologer, so I am not versed on the full complexity, but I've listened to some very good things from Astrolata and Leo King and Pam Gregory. And there are also many Native American teachings about the eclipse that you can also put that in your search terms to kind of get yourself aware of the context of what is happening and what is the opportunity and really what's happening in the world outside of you, to put it in context. To me, that Baltimore Bridge is a big affirmation from the universe that says, yes, eclipse is real and some unexpected things. Be prepared for your reality to be shifted, just like you were a Baltimore commuter. Okay, so 25 here. Whatever peak experiences are for you, seek them out occasionally for good mental health. Run and dance like no one is watching. Seek joy, seek flow. Find your wildness, be a loyal friend, do something simply for the fun of it. All right, that's beautiful. All right. This deck is very interesting because it has additional information about the constellations, and like you could kind of get very sciencey with it. But the affirmation of the word of power associated is, I seek joy and exhilaration. All right. Howl at the moon, be crazy, go wild, like have fun, right? We want fun and joy and delight. So this is beautiful. Okay, so for the solar eclipse, what do we have here? Oh my gosh. Wow. Retribution. Scorpius. It's a constellation. That is going to be interesting because but it's interesting, there's a heart. It is a heart in the shape behind this flame. It's so interesting because it's almost like a gaseous cloud, but it's also like a flame. There's a golden quality, a spark of life, and it looks like there's some sacred geometry in this. So let's see what Scorpius and Retribution. Okay, solar eclipse coming up. Are we having a balancing out of the scales? I hope we're not going to have, there are some injustices that need to be, okay, what my guides were just showing me is Samuel Jackson. Excuse me. Samuel Jackson, yes. And when he is, okay. He's considering himself to be divinely justified in the retribution that he wants to give out. The perspective of the divine retribution versus the opposite of that feels that this is a horrible injustice. So, I mean, I'm going to say it. We have this situation right now with the war in Gaza between Israel and Gaza, and what is happening is like a retribution to the people of Gaza for an egregious attack where lives were lost. But the retribution cycle, how many ping pongs is it going to go back? Okay, we're back to the bridge. Okay, all right. Okay, I see. We're back to the bridge and the polarity. We can continue to travel across that dynamic of the polarity, the retribution and the injustice, and then the retribution for the injustice against the unjust. And while that's happening, where people are dying, that structure is fracturing so that new pathways can emerge for the energy to flow differently to a more loving form. Okay, let's see what else I'm getting. Yes, the entrenched polarities and the entrenched structures are going to be challenged by this solar eclipse. intentionally. And from what I do understand from like the astrologers, that this is a 3 year type of experience. If we look from 20, the Leo King, I think, was teaching that from 2016 to 2020, we had the grand eclipse in 2017, and then the fruition of the eclipse that changed everyone's reality in terms of traditional moving and shaking. We could never have trajectoried or prospected that it was going to be such a radical eclipse event. And they can chart back over this cycle in times past as well of how radical it is. So I was speaking with my friends the other day, and I said, I'm trying to hold this position that I cannot be shocked by whatever I see. Like, let me just understand it, process it, and then adapt. Like, be prepared for my mind to be blown by whatever changes to those entrenched polarities is presented. Okay, so retribution. Let's see here. The best revenge is to not be like your enemy. Revenge often ends up as a tragedy for both parties. Focus on your own success. Justice may be your best course. Someone may be jealous of you. Be aware of your values and how these can assist you to discern what is important to you and to build a positive, ethical foundation. Nemesis energy. We will always have an opposite or someone who challenges our values. Now, I disagree with that. I believe that there is polarity, but the extremity of the polarity, we have a lot of opportunity to refine that to a higher place, so that we're not either bloodying bodies. Like at both ends of the polarity are bloodied bodies right now. The divinely justified ones that are, whether it be the Crusades or colonization, all those justifications that people make to do harm or trample others in the name of their belief system or their idea that it is okay. That ping pongs then over to, well, you did it to me and now I must do it to you. But that change, that relief of the karma, the lessening of the growth, because we've learned then to not be in extreme polarity. Let me just say that one of the energies is coming up in the solar eclipse window, the belly of the whale constellations. And this, according to the stellar nations cosmology, is where like the beings go that have fallen out of disharmony with the creation pattern in order to be redeemed and to be changed and to have their frequency healed and returned back into fellowship with the grand design. That's my words, not the words of my teachers, but you can check my interview with Leslie Shankman. She's ambassador of the Stellar Nations, and she was teaching about this particular energy of where we're going into the darkest of the dark. And this is what that other card was saying, going into the darkest of the dark, so that we can heal that and move back into then a higher frequency version that is less polarized. Okay, so let's see what else the Scorpius says. I'm going to read this one because this is important energy. This is a hard cycle to get out of. But to me, killing is never okay, right? It's never okay to rain down your vengeance, right, on others. So it says the famous philosopher Marcus Aurelius said, the best revenge is not to be like your enemy. This is a lot of wisdom to be read, and there is a lot of wisdom to be read in this statement. But today I wanted to touch on just one aspect of this that has been useful to me: the action of acknowledging and understanding your values and developing your virtues. When we understand the underlying forces are what underlying forces are that when we understand what the underlying forces are that drive us forward, we begin to understand what we need satiated to grow and be vital. We can also understand that if these values are thwarted, we can get depressed and stuck. This is only natural. When we understand this, we can align ourselves with a good ethical foundation so that our own authenticity can shine without having a huge negative impact on others. Okay, that's why when we manifest, we say, for my highest good and the highest good of all. This is for all of us because you're me. So I can't, I don't want what I have at the cost of you. And there's so much abundance that there does not need to be that reality. If I don't create the reality that there's lack and disadvantage. So we have this opportunity to create a different reality that is not based again on those two entrenched polarities. All right. When we understand this, we can be a positive examples to others in the world and at the same time not even think about it with any ego, because after all, we are working only on bettering ourselves by working on virtue first. That is a somewhat difficult and lifelong process. We all both typically fail and succeed because we are human. If we think about our nemesis or enemy energy, I don't think we should be thinking about individual people at all. Instead, I think about values that they embody. The chances are these values clash with one or more of your values. When we know and understand our values, then knowing and understanding becomes easier, and there is less chance for terrible interactions that trigger a need for revenge or retribution. The Greeks tell a story about this constellation, and it is indeed one where values clashed. Gaia, the ancient mother goddess, heard the giant Orion, the huntsman, claim that he was so great at hunting he might kill every animal on earth. The alternate story is that he boasted that there was not one living beast that he could not beat and kill in a fight. Gaia, who loved every single one of her creations, small or large, ugly or beautiful, was outraged. Here indeed was a clash of values. So she sent a giant poisonous scorpion, Scorpius, to kill Orion. Orion was killed, and both became star constellations, opposing ones forever at odds with each other. The Hawaiians refer to this constellation as the Maui god's fishhook, and the Javanese see it as a swan with a long curved neck. It is a very beautiful constellation, rich in star clusters and of all features the very distinctive red star Antares. The words of power, I choose a higher path than retribution. Look at this image that was of the woman. I mean, that's Gaia, right? Crying at the pain that is being wreaked on her planet against all of her living beings, because in the idea of retribution and the extremity of polarity. Whew, that's a big card right there. Now I understand. Now I understand what is being said, what we're being called to see. What we refuse to see is how painful the Divine Mother and our planet and the consciousness is. And beautiful. We have this opportunity. We have an opportunity. Okay, so continuing to move on. Now, what did I get? Okay, the Oracle of Portals. Because this is a portal window, the bridge between the eclipses. We're just going to get one card from this particular deck. Let's see, what is this bridge space, this liminal space, the in-between when the one has not transitioned to the new yet. All right. Greetings. Hello to the Good Vibe Tribe. Hey there. Thank you for joining this evening. We are at the portal point, seeing why this window, what is happening during this window. Oh, seclusion. That's so interesting because I really have been feeling like just kind of like being still and being at home. So this is interesting. It's like our hermit. And it's beautiful mountains. What else? Oh, look, there's a beautiful daisy. Ooh, beautiful edelweiss and flowers. I say edelweiss just because it's mountains and I love the sound of music. And so there must be a reason why. Okay, there's a reflection as well. This is the iceberg. Look what's below the surface, the shadow kind of thing. It's a very frozen, glaciery kind of place. All right, so, and that's a 32. Do we have any 32s already? We have a 23. Okay, and here's the lady stepping into the glow of the home. This scene reminds me of, was it WandaVision? The series, and like Wanda, she goes and secludes herself to learn this magical form and withdraws completely and hides herself from society. And so it's like this inner glow, like you go within to the magic and seclude yourself. And it's also a young kind of figure here. So it's almost like our inner child as well. Okay, let's see what we have here. Seclusion. This is a portal of related to seclusion between now and the 8th. That was the question. Okay, so it's time for some quiet time away from others in the outside world. The ideal length of your retreat depends on the nature of your question and situation. In some cases, you may want to schedule a solitary week or a weekend in a cabin in the woods, desert, seaside, another natural setting of your choosing, or even in your own home. In other cases, this message is more about stepping away from your present situation for a day, a half day, an hour, or even a few quality minutes alone. Or this card may be indicating that your guides and angels want you to stay home alone instead of going out or spending time with a person or group. No matter how long the length of your seclusion, the point is to set boundaries around your thoughts, feelings, opinions, and personal space so that you can reconnect with yourself, nourish yourself, and listen to the whisperings of your soul. Perhaps you've been contemplating a choice or deciding what new direction you want to take. If that's the case, enter the seclusion portal before you commit to a particular path. Establish silence within and around yourself so that you can hear the voices of your higher self and the divine. No matter what length of retreat you choose, be sure to turn off your phone and place it in an airplane mode for either the whole time or for a substantial chunks of time. A retreat is not a retreat if you're on call or constantly checking in with others via text and social media. Your period of seclusion, whether it's 5 minutes or 5 days, must include simple mindfulness practices such as meditation and deep breathing. If you have more time, you can also include other supportive self-care practices such as bathing, making your favorite healthy meals and treats, walking outside, and writing in your journal. Be sure you tune into your intuition about what length and form of seclusion will most benefit you. Take some deep breaths, tune into your body, and ask yourself, what kind of retreat that I can reasonably afford and fit into my schedule will most benefit me now? then listen to the quiet inner wisdom that always knows. Or if you don't seem to know, pretend that you do. In other words, if you did know, what would the answer be? When you pose the question this way, viable inner guidance will surely arise. Once it does, make arrangements to spend quality time with yourself in precisely the way that you are shown. Okay. So several years ago, I had a dream of something in the sun and an event. You can find the event video on my channel. But basically, let me boil it down that if when they talk about the wave or the energy that goes across the planet, there is an idea that there's going to be a solar flash or a rainbow wave or aura wave or energy or something like that. But it's all kinds of things and theories. But there's also then the assurance that you will hear and you will know what you're to do when that happens, and to be prepared, because you will need to help those who do not have that connection. So one of the things that is also said is to just, when you're called to lie down or to be still or to be quiet and to be in your space, just do it and accept it in the moment and take that seclusion. So it's almost like how we had to shelter in place in the pandemic. It actually helped people connect more with their bodies and nature and their family and their home, even when we had all been living externally at work, at school, and all that stuff. So whatever might happen that is changed so radically with this eclipse being triggered in the couple years, try to continue to remember that you'll be connected. You'll know to not fall into the energy of polarity and retribution, to hold the higher frequency, and to withdraw when you feel guided to. Okay, wow. That's so interesting. I've been feeling information coming, but the context of the big picture, I just don't have quite the understanding, but I do have the conversation and the hearing and the eyes to see, ears to hear the things. So we are going to get guidance from this enchanted map by Colette Baron Reed. I wanted to see if we can get some directional guidance. Again, we're talking about the energies moving in this window between the lunar and solar eclipse and the bridge, related to the bridge collapse. And it's so interesting because in the pictures of how the barge was just filled with all of these containers. They said like 40, almost 5,000 containers. And these are box cars, rail cars, big things, heavy load, heavy baggage. So like the collective consciousness, like what are we carrying? That heavy load that we've been carrying and those dark things inside those containers in each of us is a weight that has become unwieldy and is destructive. So here we have this shown to us in the visible stage. So let's again go in, get our shadow, empty those containers, lighten the load so that we're more nimble and that we don't go around destroying things as well. Okay, so guidance and directional guidance from the enchanted map. We'll get lunar and solar. Thank you to the Good Vibes Tribe. How are y'all feeling, first of all? Anybody tired? I know we've got solar energies from activity. If you want to check that out, I recommend Suspicious Observers. Ben's channel is very informative, very sciencey, but, straightforward, not scandal mongering, fear mongering. So it's important to look at the frequency of the news and the information that you're ingesting and feel your way through it right now. Don't get engaged in extreme things that are not visible and happening to you in front of your very eyes. All right, here we go. Lunar here and solar here. So lunar, reversed. Wizard of awareness. Ooh, and it's reversed. We keep getting this energy about misuse of power, misuse of energy. It's interesting because the triskele, which is like triskele, is a feminine symbol here behind. It's organic, and in front of it we have this kind of blocked and blocking masculine, but it's also, we almost see the hangman card with from tarot as well. Let me see what else is on this. Wizard of awareness. Okay, so the lunar is about the hidden and the hidden mysteries inside. So let's see, this is card number 3. I'm interested about the reversal. It says, it is to warn you that too much force behind the desire for a specific outcome robs you of a true and full experience. Step back, take your energy away from your situation, and focus on gratitude for the ever-changing conditions of life. Are you perhaps trying to control the outcome of something because you don't trust in your highest good? Meditate, be still, and your answer will come without any effort on your part. Okay, be a neutral observer and you'll see how this moment is but a small marker on the map of your life's journey. Okay, be still and know. Tune in, be still and know. That's beautiful. Okay, I received that. Oh, and the main affirmation is your soul knows best. Be still and observe. Okay, so going within. And the masculine, ooh, look at this, coming to life. This is an 11. I love that, like rising up, illuminating, and with this beautiful 11, 29 is 11, with beautiful cosmic egg of a star of illumination. All right, let's see. And it's springtime, so this is the time when new life is going to emerge. This is beautiful. Something beautiful is being born in your life. Okay, so this solar eclipse is bringing something beautiful to us. When you look at your life, can you see how you've grown and evolved over time? Perhaps you've shed skins and identities and created new ones, or at the very least matured in your ideas about yourself and the world you inhabit. You know, things take time, and spirit is rarely in sync with your own. This card indicates that a long-held dream is beginning to show signs of life. You must try not to coax it along or shape it according to your desires. Spirit knows the best form for the manifestation of this dream, and your life can become even better than you could possibly imagine. That's beautiful. All right, I received that. Now is the time for reverence and awe. Allow the contours of your path to be carved by the hands of the divine. All you have to do is show up. All you have to do is show up. That's beautiful. Okay, that just takes all kind of like fear out of the equation, because just know we're okay, whatever's happening. This is the change needed to birth new life, and it's here. Okay, and so on that note, our last deck is going to be the power to transform. This is another Sedona deck. The creator of this, I can't see who the author is. Let's open it up and see here. This is a deck that has 3D glasses in it, which is very interesting. I'm definitely not using those today because first of all, my glasses would not even work. So All right, let us see here. This is a very big deck. So, what is this transformation? This new life? What are the possibilities and what guidance should we hold in our hearts as we cross this bridge between the eclipses and between the old and new? One more shuffle. Okay. The two cards that we received. Wow. I have to take 3 because I saw it. Whenever I see the message starts coming in, as soon as my eyes process it, okay, so, and that's beautiful because it's perfect harmony. So for the feminine, we have Dragonfly Mystique. Slow down and identify the pattern that keeps you from moving forward. Assume responsibility. Be patient and gentle with yourself. Use your higher intelligence and decide to break free. Dragonfly Mystique entices us to journey into a realm where we can slow down and shift perceptions of our patterns. The giant luminescent dragonfly is a messenger that one evokes when altering a habit. The elusive spirits behind the evanescent waterfall are sending signals to guide your transformation. Enter into this magical setting where time stands still. Invite the dragonfly to circle around to bring you a message regarding a habit you would like to change. Identify the pattern. Chart the cycle of your coping behavior. Does a negative statement from a person trigger anger, which you internalize as depression? Do you then escape through old addictions until you achieve perceived emotional balance only to repeat the cycle? Identify how these patterns serve you. Using your intelligence, analyze how to break the repeating cycle that has held you back. Break free. The turtle and the deer assist you to be patient and gentle with yourself while altering your patterns. If you have drawn this card, you are being called to assume responsibility for the habits you would like to alter, analyze the challenge, and decide to change. Okay, I use this eclipse window to approach that. Dragonfly energy has been coming up too in the last couple weeks in the symbols. And so, of course, I also see that as we are breaking free, I will have not just the support of the dragonfly, but my ancestors as well. And we are being called to assume responsibilities of society for the things that we are creating that create this polarity. We identify the things that we wish to alter, analyze the challenges, and then we change from the inside out. Okay, beautiful. Now for the masculine side, we have Genesis. How fitting. That's the new start, the beginning, the seed point. And it's so much like that. Where's the other card? Yes, Genesis. Okay. This is beautiful. Forgive yourself. Reveal thought and language patterns which confine you. Transform negativity into positivity and change your life. Okay, I received the repeating message. Genesis illustrates water rushing over rock, wearing down the solid mass and washing away the disintegrating debris. This process parallels the release and cleansing of old thoughts and language within us that no longer serve. As we release negative perceptions, our physical reality is transformed. Journey into this watery underground chamber. The rushing water is wearing away the solid mass of vermilion rocks, which represent fixed negative thought and speech patterns. The water sweeps away the debris, cleanses, and transforms this negativity into positivity. Observe how you bombard yourselves with negative self-talk and limiting language. This self-attack creates inferior cellular chemistry, breeding new, weaker cells. Break the cycle. At the exact moment of attack, interrupt negative thoughts and language, release the toxic rush of addictions, and rewire your brain. Change your perceived reality and how you filter information from your outer world onto your viewing screen. Transform negativity into the positive language and thoughts of I choose, I desire, I create. If you have drawn this card, you are being called to forgive yourself, manipulate matter into positivity, and change your life. Okay, we are master manifestors and can manipulate our reality or co-create our reality to change. Beautiful. Okay, and then last but not least, this was what wanted to come out. I love this. Regeneration. It's like a tree rising, expanding, electrified and growing, rooted, connected to the waters and the emotional flow, sourced and resourced. Embrace beauty, open your heart, and release judgment. Allow energy to pass through to liberate you from pain. Speak your needs while sharing love generously. Regeneration sets the stage for releasing criticism and pain, unlocking the portal of sharing love and giving voice to your own needs. Stand at the entrance of this rock portal, which guards this ethereal, watery vortex. Feel in your body any place where you are holding on to constrictive energy. Notice any judgment of yourself and others. Sense a mystical blanket of energy that seems to barricade the entrance of the portal. Aloud, request that the torrential floodgates be opened. Breathe in deeply. Hold and exhale slowly. Continue until you experience the rush and release of trapped energy. Allow your ego to join forces with your higher self. Call upon your allies. The shaman assists you to vocalize your needs and regenerate vital life force energy. The release of energy expands the heart to express love and joy. Release physical depletion and experience buoyancy in your body. If you have drawn this card, you are being called to release yourself from criticism and pain. Ask your guides to open the gateway. Give voice to your needs and desires to achieve balance. Okay, let's use this to give voice, to speak our needs. We need love. We need harmony. We need all versions of ourselves to experience beauty. And by that, I mean everyone, to experience beauty. All of us, no one left behind, no child left behind, and no child left in the rubbles of any kind of structure. Okay, so we are regenerating, holding the beauty, calling forth for our needs. We are here representing Gaia as she changes from the pain of the imbalance that has been happening on her planet, as we see and reveal our shadow in operation, that we can grow then to bring joy and exhilaration and new life into the planet. Genesis and regeneration. New, birthing new, and remaking the old. All right, so those are the guidance messages that we got from In the Cards today for this bridge, this eclipse time. Interesting download. I'm definitely going to be doing some work from it. And whenever you should find this in this eclipse or the next, know that the guidance is meant to unlock something in you, also in your journey in that particular moment. I love and honor all of you who are here, and I'm so grateful for this journey and to be able to be vibrantly alive during this experience. So, namaste.